Bonjour and welcome to La French Tech on Air, our European video podcast series on business and technology. In Europe, La French Tech ecosystem is made of 27 communities that are connecting to the French tech startup scene and creating a bridge to European tech movements. My name is Billy Yen. I am the board member at La French Tech Cracovie. I will be your host and the moderator for today. We'll discuss with Johanna Dousse, People and Culture Lead at Unit8. Johanna, welcome.
Hello, Billy. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. So, first of all, this conversation is about you. So, maybe you can start with introducing yourself and your journey.
Of course. So, hello, everyone. My name is Johanna. I'm based here in Switzerland at Unit8. My role at Unit8 is People and Culture Lead, and I started my career in this company a bit less than 3 years ago. Actually, it was just 1 week before the lockdown, so it was a pretty difficult time to start in a new company. And I graduated from the famous hotel hospitality management school in Lausanne, here in Switzerland. Then I evolved my career in the operation of events in the whole world, actually, for more than 8 years. And then I moved to operation of small companies in Switzerland in 2018. So I joined Unit8 in 2019, and at that time we were 35 people. And this week we are reaching the size of 100 employees.
Wow, that's a great achievement, a big milestone actually. And I guess that you have a big role played in this achievement. So let's start from the beginning. You joined when Unit8 were only 37 and now it is 100. So can you tell us what's your role in the company?
Actually, my role evolved with the company. It evolves with a different mission around people and culture, and every quarter I have a different objective. In general, I'm part of operation team, which is a team of 6 people, and I'm dealing with all the project related to people and culture, of course. So for example, when I joined the company, my focus was more on attracting people. So I was very involved in hiring processes. I work with the CTO to train people in our company to conduct interviews, for example. Then during the pandemic, of course, my role was to keep the team together. It was pretty difficult because not only I was new in the AI industry, but also my whole team was at home and I didn't meet with any of them in a physical environment.
So during the pandemic, we heard a lot that it was hard to hire, but also maintain a culture in the company. So how was it for you?
Definitely. So I have to admit that I didn't really know how to do it at the beginning because I didn't meet my colleagues in person. So first I had to get used to this new environment, and for our engineer it seems that it was more natural to be at home and behind a screen. So actually we created some small group with great ideas about initiative. We cooked together, we had some apéro together online, we organized some game, and a lot of team building stuff. And actually the ideas came from the team directly. And also I made sure that I could contact each of them personally to check on them and make sure that they were all right, which was indeed possible with 35 people. Now it's not anymore possible. But still, our culture is very, very strong despite the pandemic.
I guess it's a different challenge from managing 35 people to managing 100. It's a different business. But yeah, I can imagine also that you need to have different tools. But before going to that topic, I want maybe to go back to what we said. We talk a lot about AI, about engineers. Can you introduce a bit Unit8?
Yes, so Unit8 is a Swiss-based company with some strong Polish roots because our founders are from Poland. So we have 4 offices actually, 2 in Switzerland, in Lausanne and Zurich, and 2 in Poland, in Krakow and in Wrocław. 100 people this week, indeed. And our mission is to help the traditional industries to transition to more digital processes and tools. So our core business is really to help the traditional industry to adopt AI, and we do that with different techniques around data science, data engineering, cloud engineering, software engineering.
For the audience that might not be familiar with the term, non-digital company are those century-old corporations that might be leader in the industry, but have some difficulty due to the size to move to the digital era. So that's why what you're doing at Unit8 is really powerful, bring the power of data engineering, data science to give value to those businesses. Can you maybe give us some example of project you work on, Johanna?
Of course. So first, in terms of industries, for the moment, we work with the pharma industry, with the chemical industry. We also have a lot of work in the financial and the banking industry. Our expertise is also in manufacturing, where we play a very important role and we have a big impact because we use data science, for example, to predict maintenance. So imagine that you are in a big factory and you have a lot of machine, and we use data from the machine to predict, when we have to repair them or to replace them. So that's a very simple example. And a concrete impact for that, for example, we manage also to increase some production line. And we did that with a big pharma company, and thanks to data science, we improved by 11% the production of a manufacturer. We also work with WWF, for example, as pro bono work for them. And also here, thanks to data science, we were able to predict forest fire in Latin America. And we have several use cases. We work for banks where we also use data and AI to avoid fraud, as well as different projects in the chemical industries.
This is fantastic. Why did you decide to work with multinational companies? Wouldn't it be easier to work with digital organizations?
Yes, indeed. And actually, this is the mission of Unit8, because when the founder created the company, they saw a need in Europe. In Europe, there are a lot of traditional companies, and actually all the tech talents, they are indeed at the Silicon Valley. And this is why, the problem is also there that there are a lot of digital companies in the US, for example, whereas the real needs are in Europe. And without this tech talent, we won't be able to bring Europe and the industry at the next level. So this is the reason why Unit8 is focusing on that mission specifically.
That being said, there is a worldwide IT talent shortage, and it's partly due to those tech giants in the US, for instance. So how do you compete with them?
Yes, so one of our secret weapons is actually to focus on the culture. We have an amazing culture at Unit8. So we have 6 values, and one of them is team over individual, which means a lot for us. So we foster collaboration by working in impactful projects as a team. And also our strategy is to put our people in the center of the company. So we have a lot of initiative at Unit8 to offer an awesome workplace for our teams. And this is how we compete also on the market, by bringing them together, making sure that together they can collaborate and deliver on an impactful project, and finally having an environment where they can flourish, they can develop their skills, they can grow, and they can have fun together. So we really compete on the cultural aspect of our company.
I understand, and I recall this saying by Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So I can only agree with you on this one.
Exactly.
Obviously, having great culture means being selective. So what are the no-go for potential candidates?
Totally. And since the beginning, we said to our engineer to not make any compromise. So since the beginning, we set up our own process, our own test, technical and coding test, and we train our engineer to conduct some interviews. So it means that hiring at Unit8 is made by our people for their project team. So with that strategy, we make sure that we bring on board only the people who are able to work with us. And indeed, a red flag or a no-go for us will be a person who doesn't respect the values of the company or who is not able to work in team.
Does it happen often?
Sometimes.
Anyway, Being a people and culture person also means that you're able to find the right fit, how a candidate will be integrated with the team. So do you have success stories to share?
Yes, actually, I have two with some young graduates that we hired first a few years ago. One of our employee was, I think, the 15th person in the company, and she started as an intern. And today she is leading a project. She is mentoring other young people at Unit8, and she is taking more and more responsibilities. So she has been with us from the very start of the company, and she is growing with the company. Another good example is actually in Krakow. We organized some workshop at HEH, and one of our participants was very inspired by the workshop and the content we gave to the students, and she decided to apply for Unit8. So a few months later, she joined the company as a young graduate, and she was followed actually by her husband. So you can see that Unit8 is also a big family, not only on the paper, but in reality.
Wow. Loving the company, I guess that's a good sign that it's a nice work environment. Now, with your journey, you must have tried things that have failed, but also learned from them. So, can you share some of them with us?
Yes, the big fail actually for an engineer is difficult to admit, but is when you don't trust your feeling. And it happened once or twice that we made a compromise on hiring, and we saw that the person will adapt quickly to the company. But unfortunately, it was not so easy, and this person then decided to leave after a few months. So this is the kind of fail where, like we identify from the beginning that maybe the candidate is not the right person for the team, but we compromise there and we see that at the end we had the right feeling. So for an engineer, for example, to trust your guts and to make a decision based on your feelings is something maybe which is not obvious, but not listening to your little voice inside you can also make you a bad mistake.
Okay, so it seems like it's a great place. I'm convinced. So, for people who want to apply, what's your recruiting process?
So our process is still very traditional, I have to admit, but it starts with the CV selection. Then the candidate have a screening interview with some engineers where we check also a bit their expectation, if they match with the company, what they want to do, and of course about their experience and their past project. Then we move to a coding interview or more technical interview. It can be one or two of them, including a decomposition interview. At the end, we ask our participants to present something to make sure that they are also able to work in front of a business audience. So the presentation part is also important. And for the young graduate, we have an additional step, which is an online coding interview.
So, no coding interview for senior engineers?
No, we are not. Actually, we are not doing it via an online tool. We are doing it live with our engineer. And here the exercise is slightly different because this coding interview is a team kind of coding. So we expect also the person to be able to communicate and collaborate with the interviewer. And in that sense, it's a slightly different coding interview than just like a test online.
I also heard that you are thinking of including some ping pong assessment to your interview process.
Of course, and it will be tested on site then.
Yeah, ping pong is such a startup thing, like a great place to evacuate the energy but also bring people together.
Cliché.
Anyway, that's the end of the session for me. So before wrapping this episode, do you have any advice for anyone who want to achieve similar success with their team?
I think that Unit8 is going through a very great journey, and why we are successful also is because all our team members have different role in the company, and they are playing an active role in building the company together with us, with the leadership team, with all the engineers. So it's super important if you would like to grow successfully to involve your people also in the history of and the journey of your company. That would be my final advice for you.
And thank you for that. So I think that's all for today. Thank you again, Johanna, for the session. I hope you guys enjoy as much as I did. You can watch the episode on YouTube, the video episode. The audio only is also available on all global podcast platforms. Follow us to be updated about the next episodes and wish you a great day. See you soon. À bientôt.